for rejuvenation. Achado di, everyone, at the top of page 138.
Adonai Echad, U'Shemo Echad, L'Shem U'Tiferet L'Tila, L'Echad Odi, L'Echad Kala, L'Echad Kala, Shabbat, L'Echad, L'Echad, L'Echad Odi, L'Echad Kala, L'Echad Kala, Shabbat.
Before we go to the Baruch Hu on page 146, a couple of announcements. Basically, I want to thank Jodessa for adding to our own egg tonight. She brought grapes to everybody. They've been washed and cleaned by Eileen. So once again, in addition, also the parent group, there are some oranges left. Please take advantage of them before they get much older. The grapes are new. Pretty much, this will be our last, Sunday will be our last session for this year. We will be off for 2 weeks in correspondence with Burbank Unified School District as well as LAUSD. And we hope that your finals did well, Olivia, so we're good with that. In addition, it'll be in my column, but I'll give you a foretaste. We will eventually get out of the pandemic. We need to see where the temple wants to go. So in the context, and I don't want to give away what I wrote, but starting on the third Friday of the month, when we used to do Ask the Rabbi, this time we're not going to just ask the Rabbi about things in the past, things in the present. We're going to start asking questions, please, but things in the future. We need to come up with ideas for what we want the temple to do and to attract more people to come to temple. You know, I love you're all here Friday night, but we're talking about there are 6 other nights of the week that we could be doing something. Already, Eileen and I have been talking about what old lousy movie, what good movies have come up here. Thank you for listening. Seriously, what blockbusters we want to show, things of that nature. But in addition, the book club, Barbara's working on the book club, and we want to start doing other things. And secondly, part of that will also be questioning our young people, the ones who are involved. Miranda about college, Olivia about high school and things of that nature, so that we understand what they're going through so that we make for a stronger community. And also, I think, sharing it. So on the third Friday, if you're in the future, tell your friends they want to come and have a discussion as part of Friday Night Services to see where we want to go. You know, I was just thinking, we have people in the congregation who have marvelous life experiences, and they don't share. And I think it would be wonderful. You know, I know very little about the gambling and the bordellos in Burbank, but there are temple. Yeah, see? Did you see Eileen's head jump up? Ron, did you see that?
No, I woke up.
Yeah, well, I woke up. So yeah, anything. So, you know, we have temple members who are Burbankians all their life, and they will tell you the Burbank exposed. Maybe that's a bad way to put it, but that's the idea. Why go outside and have to hire somebody and well, we can have a temple member who would love to volunteer their time. So that's where my head is at. We need to begin to step from the past into the future. And everybody embrace people. So if you have an idea, something you want to share, bring it to us Friday night services, and then we'll bring it to the board meeting, and we'll talk about it. And that's all I'm going to say. So be thinking about it once again. Oh, just in case anybody's concerned, we are having Friday night services next week. I know it's Christmas Eve, but it's still Friday. Oh no, I'm waiting for the phone calls. Tell Ralph he's going to take the phone calls. It's an old story. So at that point, is there anything I've left out? Anything that I need to remember, sister, anything going on? No. Okay, no. Could you all please rise and turn to page 146 for the Baruch Hu, for the formal call to prayer. Please turn to page 150. Actually, I think I like page 151, the second paragraph. Let us read together. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. The more we direct ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works, and the living language that gives its form in Hebrew? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Please turn to the next page for the Shema. Please join us as we recite the Shema, the gift we gave to the world, the belief in the one God. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kivod Malchuto, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Praise His name, whose glorious kingdom is forever and ever. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, God. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, God. Oh, Rabbeinu, oh, Rabbeinu, oh, Rabbeinu, God. Oh, Rabbeinu, oh, Rabbeinu, oh, Rabbeinu, God. Oh, Rabbeinu, oh, Rabbeinu, oh, Rabbeinu, God. Am Yisrael, God. Ay, ay, ay. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, God. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael. You may be seated. Please turn to page 154, and let us read the English, the middle of the page, Everyone, you shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions which I charge you this day, and press them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand, and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. inscribe them on the doorpost of your house and on your gates. Thus you shall remember to observe all my commandments and to be holy to your God. I'm Adonai your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I'm Adonai your God, in the Hebrew, Adonai Elohechem Emet. Please turn to page 158. Milcha, very powerful, especially this time of year. There's a time of great joy for ourselves and for our neighbors. There's also a time of great suffering. So Milcha teaches us to be humble. That even though we may be victorious, that the demise of our enemies is not something to cheer or make hay of. And unfortunately, we hear it. We hear people, they found out, they got it, it's being subpoenaed. Nah, not the Jewish way. The Jewish way is saying, thank God it's not me. No, the Jewish way is to say, thank you, God, for making us who we are, for being righteous people, and for showing what true freedom is, the freedom to be free. Milcha Mocha, everybody, on page 158. Please turn to page 161. And once again, at the top of the page, let us read together. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in praise and rise up waiting to do your will. In the Hebrew, Baruch atah Adonai, aparestu kat shalom, aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. The Hebrew text, by the way, goes back to the larger text on page 160. But it says, blessed are you, God, who puts out a shelter of peace upon us and upon the people of Israel and upon Jerusalem. So it's actually a little bit deeper than what the English says, but the idea is that, please, shelter us, watch over us, because there are storms of life, and as we know, things don't seem to be ending the way we would like them to be. So we will gather the storm together, we will build a shelter together, and we'll make an oasis of peace for all of us. And let us say, Amen. Page 162, Vishamru. You know, I remember when I was in high school. I don't know what it was, but by the time I got to Friday, I was exhausted. My stomach was giving me a hard time, and it was at every morning, 8 to 3, 5 days a week. All I can tell you is for those of you who are getting ready to go to college, trust me, it's easier in college. You can pick your schedule. You can sleep in some mornings. You can go later. Except me, who that first semester, sophomore year, I found I picked 5 8 o'clock classes. And one of them was at another university. So needless to say, it was a pain. But don't do that. But understand, it'll be over soon, and you can say, hey, I'll get up at 10, go to school until 4, and I'll go relax. Okay, so you get more sleep. You're falling asleep. Okay? All right, that goes for all of us. People are working too hard. And then when they say, I need the evening free, I'm running out of gas, for example, don't feel guilty. I need to be home and watch the reruns of my favorite sitcoms. That's life in America. Yeah, come on. Yeah, but that's the truth. We don't get enough sleep. I don't either. You get up, oh, I got so many things to do. What? Go back into bed, sit for another hour. Nope. I have to be up. And I get up at 7:30, no matter what time I go to sleep. It's like my body is saying, we'll fix you for all those years. No. Once again, make sure you rest, because for a variety of reasons. We want you around for a long time. We have lots of things to do. We don't want anybody getting sick, and I mean it. So Vishamru, everybody, remember the children of Israel are to guard Shabbat, are to guard rest. Come on. It doesn't mean sleeping necessarily. Find a good book. Find a good movie. Find a good anything. I just talked to, on the way here, I know I'm talking a little bit. I'll catch up. I talked to my oldest friend. I know him since I'm a year old in Yonkers, New York. And it was a great conversation on the way here. And the best part about the conversation is it made me rest. All that traffic, all that tension. No. Because you're paying attention. Yes, I was watching my driving. But there's the rest of a lifetime of friendship. And that's the point. So it doesn't mean necessarily sleep. It means just find a place that gives you rest. With that in mind, Vishamru, everybody on 162.
Vishamru, B'nai Yisrael, HaShabbat, L'asot et HaShabbat, L'Torah Torah, Vishamru, B'nai Yisrael, HaShabbat, L'asot et HaShabbat, L'Torah B'nai Yisrael, Oti Leolam, Oti Leolam, Oti Leolam, Yeshamanu, B'nai Yisrael, HaShabbat, L'asot et HaShabbat, L'Torah Ki sheshet yomim asar Adonai, et hashemayim v'et ha'aretz v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat l'asot et HaShabbat l'Torah u'bayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinachash, Shabbat vayinachash, Shabbat vayinachash, Vishamru, B'nai Yisrael, HaShabbat, L'asot et HaShabbat, L'Torah
Will you all please rise? The COVID virus doesn't seem to be going away. I received a note about temple members who may have been exposed. They're feeling fine, but they're waiting for the test. We're going to lose a student on Sunday. No specs. And then, of course, we have 2 weeks off, so I'm not really worried about affecting our school. Not that I should. But what I'm trying to get at is that it's not going away. So if you know someone who could use a prayer of healing, whether it's COVID or the flu or pneumonia or any of the A through Z diseases, or just in general, you need to have some people caring about them. And as I raise my hand above you, please say the name aloud, because when you do that, you help our prayer to be that much stronger. B, you help us share in the greatest of mitzvot, because for saving a life. And also it helps heal yourself as well as the person who heals. It helps make you feel better to say it in the presence of people who are so loving and so caring. So please. Please recite with me the prayer first uttered by Moses for Sister Miriam. Elna Rafanallah. Elna Rafanallah. Elna Rafanallah. In other words, please God heal her. Speaks to Shekhinah, the feminine aspect of God, which is the source of healing. And may it be a healing of body, a healing of mind, a healing of soul, a refreshment, a complete healing. And let's all say Amen. Amen. Please turn to page 371 as we continue our healing. The Mishaberach is an old ancient formula brought to life by Mishra Peace, Cantor Debbie Friedman. Please join us for the Mishaberach.
May the source of strength who bless those before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. There's those in need of healing, in the arms laying out the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Thank you, Robert. This time, for prayers of individual making, each of us is a unique manifestation of God's creation. Let us take a prayer of our own. Let us pray silently from our heart to God's heart. We're about to go on a journey of the utmost importance. Please turn to page 178. And let us read together in the middle of the page. Everyone, grant abundant peace to Israel, your people, forever. For you are the sovereign God of all peace. May it be pleasing to you to bless your people, Israel, in every season and moment with your peace. Let us all say Amen. Please turn to page 180. Leadership comes in many shapes and many forms, but one thing you need to know about leadership, you need to be of clear mind and a pure heart. And if we're going to be leaders, then we need a personal prayer, a prayer of personal penitence, 2/3 of the way down the page, on page 180. Everyone? Ilaratson, Imri Figion Libi, Lefanecha Ana Yitzur B'Goali. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. Let us complete with a paragraph on page 180. Oseh Shalom B'Romav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yivru. Amen. May the one who makes peace in the high heavens make peace for us, for all Israel, and for all inhabitants of the earth. And once again, let us say Amen. You may be seated. Well, we've been following the adventures and misadventures of Jacob and Joseph for the last 6 weeks. But now it kind of comes to a head. Jacob greets Joseph, and he says what is the saddest and the most profound thing I think a father can ever say to a son or to a daughter. It doesn't matter. He says to Joseph, I thought that I would never see your face again. Because as far as he knew, he had been killed by animals without knowing he had been sold into slavery. And furthermore, he says, and you have given me 2 sons. To me, Jacob is beginning to apologize. He realizes what he did, because the face, I thought I would never see your face again. If you remember, when Joseph was sold into slavery, he was 17 years old, a shepherd in the land of Israel, long hair, probably a decent beard or maybe a little bit of scraggly beard. Now he doesn't look like that at all. He's in his 30s. He's wearing the top knot, reminiscent of ancient Egypt, the old Brenner knot. And sure enough, the face that Jacob is looking at is not the face he saw. It's a different face. So what Jacob is beginning to say is, I'm trying to apologize as best as I can. I'm so happy. So then he says to him, plus which your 2 sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, are no longer your sons. They're now my sons. And they will ultimately become part of the 12 tribes. And so right away, in my opinion, Jacob is trying to make up for all those years he wasn't a father to Joseph. He's going to raise those 2 boys as if it was like Joseph 2 and Joseph 3, sort of like Bob Newhart. This is my brother Darryl, this is my brother Darryl. But it's the same idea. He's treating them like his own. Now, yes, you can say, well, that's just being a good grandfather. Being a grandparent, you want to treat the kid like your own, and the parents get in the way. But that's another story for another drush. But anyway, then later on, he blesses the 12 sons. And they're called blessings, but a lot of times they're really nasty. He remembers how Simon was disrespectful, how Judah did something that was terrible to the neighbors, and so on and so forth. But then he says something that I found really fascinating. Joseph is a fruitful vine by a fountain. Its branches run over the wall, meaning its power is spread out throughout all of Egypt. And then he says something funny. Jacob says to Joseph, the archers have dealt bitterly with him and shot at him and hated him. So I looked. You've been working with the kids on Torah portions, right, Robin? Anything about archers and Joseph? No, not at all. So I looked up the Hebrew, and I said, wait a minute, there are no archers in the thing. What is he talking about? Well, then, the Hebrew for archer is keshet. But in this section, it's used the word ba'alei chetz, the masters of the arrow, or the masters of the barb. Then I realized something. The word in Hebrew to speak is ledaber, meaning going to the thing. Devarim in Hebrew means things. So when you speak, what do? You send out things. And we've used this drash before. We say, there's a beautiful book by Joseph Telushkin saying, words that heal and words that harm. Maybe it's the other way around. But that's the point. In Judaism, words have power. And I thought back. Think for a minute. Does anybody offhand remember how the older brothers greeted Joseph when he came on the spy mission for his father? They looked at each other and said, oh, good. Here comes the dreamer. They didn't say, here comes Joseph. They said, here comes the dreamer. And they were still mad about the dreams that he put them down. So who were the arrows? What arrows were they throwing? These are the brothers who hated him. It says that they hated him. And it literally says in Torah, and they hated him. So Jacob's blessing is saying that you overcome those who threw barbs at you, those who insulted you, and those who hated you. Now, furthermore, it talks about how he remained in strength by the power of the heavens. If you remember the second dream he says, my brothers are stars, my father is the sun, and my mother is the moon, but all the stars are bowing down to my star. So Jacob is reaffirming that Joseph, because bless thee with the blessings of heaven above, blessings of the deep that couch beneath, blessings of the breast and of the womb. Meaning you've been blessed by having respect to the two sons. But the point I'm trying to make is the blessing of Joseph is a blessing. And it's once again because he's cursing his brothers. He's saying that. So Jacob, in his own essence, is apologizing for the brothers. And you've got to go home to him that he is. And the crown of the head of the prince among his brethren is Joseph. So he's acknowledging that Joseph is the leader of the group. And about his apology, it comes from that idea that he has to acknowledge that Joseph has overcome the problems he had and become the greatest, and that the brothers, in essence, were wrong, which we know they were, but Jacob never admitted that he was a part of it. To me, this is saying that I'm a part of it as well, because of what I do. So when I thought about it, I thought, gee, how hard it was for him to admit to be. And once again, these Torah portions, the last few weeks, always remind me of the holidays. Now, agreed, Hanukkah is early this year, but normally they think of even better, and it's all about going to visit. Now, I could say to you, how many of you have had, never been the show fans, have had parents who would never admit to being wrong? Everybody else was wrong, but they were right. You know? I'm always reminded of the Goldwater one. In your heart, you know he's right. Somebody, yeah, far right. But that's another story. But that's the point. I don't know how I deal with people sometimes who never admit they're wrong. I always taught, admit you're wrong and get over it. Yeah. Move on. But we deal with people, oh no, everybody else is wrong, I'm not. So all I can say to you is I'm reminded of that wonderful Arabic proverb. If one person calls you a donkey, ignore them. If 5 people call you a donkey, go buy a saddle. So that's the point. So if 5 people say the person is wrong, then acknowledge that you're wrong. Acknowledge you're wrong. But acknowledge it. And how you do it. And once again, one of the beauties of biblical study is finding the word that don't quite fit. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Good Shabbos, you all. And once again, please, if you need to apologize. Oh, I need to add one thing to it. People say, but I apologized, and they didn't accept it. So let me give you Jewish law. It's a wonderful Jewish law. You have to apologize 3 times. If after 3 times the person still does not accept your apology, the mistake you made, if you want to call it the sin, the error you made is no longer yours. It's theirs for not accepting your apology. Just keep it in mind. Now, don't do like they did on Be Positive. I'm sorry you got your feelings hurt. That's not an apology. That's not an apology. And once again, Shabbat shalom, everybody. Joel, please rise. Please turn to page 586. Please join us for Aleinu. Aleinu Shabbat Adon HaKol, Latei Yotzei Vershim, Shabbat Sanu K'dei Haratzon, V'lo Samanu Mishpachot Adama, Shabbat Sam K'dei Kahem, V'kol Aleinu, V'kol Hamonam, V'anatu Gori, U'mishpachavim U'nodim, V'nei Melech, Malchei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Please turn to page 588. We continue the Aleinu V'Shehu Notei Shamayim. Notei Shamayim v'Yosei Haaretz U'Moshe Yikaro V'Shamayim V'Ma'am U'Shkinat Yusaf V'Gavei Merovi Hu Elohim Eino Malkeinu Efezulato Katatu V'Torato Yadata Hayom V'Hashemota V'Vavecha Elohim Hashamayim V'Ma'am V'Haaretz V'Tachai Ein Od. Complete Aleinu on page 591. V'Ne'emor V'Haya Adonai L'Melech al kol ha'aretz V'yom hahu Yeh Adonai echad U'Shemo It is my honor to call to mind those whom we remember in Yahrzeit memory. My dear departed father, Milton Sobel, Sharina Weber, Louis Kanofsky, Joyce Nathan, Joseph Steinmetz, and my cousin Shari Altman, Ray Beck, Sal Ramirez, Eleanor Sobel, and those who had translated to eternity in recent days and weeks and months. Jerry Wexler, Jordan Roshenkov, Matthew Rostein, Susan Del Negro, Mel Reesfield, Ida Bat Yaakov, Eleanor Friedman, Marge Brown, Alice Rivera, David Ben Biba, Anthony Agapoa, Avraham Yeshua Heschel Ben Yaakov Yisrael, Chana Bat Abraham, Arlene Kaufman Pemberton, Han Fun, Bernard Robbins, Lil Blakeman, Burton Steinberg, Helen Steinberg, David Talon, Ibarado Ben Ibarado, Chaya Wasserman, Neil Gross, Jennifer Giles, Ruth Bat Charles, Charlie Cohen, victims of the Lag Bomer disaster, Ronin Sinai, Alexandria Rodriguez, Barbara Amato, Ada Laus, Edward McDaniel, Brenda McDaniel, Megan Ermler, Baruch Ben Moshe, Lisa Ellert, Michael Kendall, Baracha Bat Label Miriam, known to us as Barbara Bolter, Nancy Hyatt, Kent Scarborough, Sonia Luna, Jack Allen, Lourdes, the wife of Carlos, Esther Virano, Beverly Bear, Judy Williams, Bob Cohen, Samuels Silverberg, Carolyn Davis, Charles Kravitz, Simona Elkin, Irene Bobrowski, Lisa Neiman Beach, Pat Winter, Jay Black, Irving Yablon, Edith Frankie, Hannah England, Gunnar Manson, Liv Borg, Gunnar Suave, Andrea Meyer, Esther Bat Yaakov, Stephen Santan, Hindi Bat Shifra, and our own dear Fran Bourne Johnson. If you're here, either on the anniversary of the death of a loved one or during a period of intense mourning, please come forward to this line to recite the Kaddish with us. Also, it's temple policy since high holidays that even if you're not a mourner, that you recite the Kaddish. The understanding that we don't have enough people on any given day to say Kaddish for known people. So for those who we've lost, who are not aware of, or anonymous to us, or unknown to us rather, please recite the Kaddish so that God can give them, and that way we do our part to make sure that no one, no Jew, no person who's given up their life for the sake of God's name is left unknown. The Kaddish is found on page 598, and let us pray. Yitkadal v'yitkadash merava, v'yamad yivrach yerutei, v'yamalik malchutei, v'chayei echon v'yom echon, chayei l'kol beit Yisrael, Ba'olam Yizman Karev Yimru. Amen. Yehesh Me'rava Nevarach Le'olam Olamei Amayim. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpo'ar v'yitromam v'yinaseh. Yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shnei Yudisham. Le'ila Minkor Birchata v'shirata. Tush Bechata v'nechamata. Tamirat v'yama v'yibru. Amen. Yehi Shlomo Rabba Min Shamaya. V'chaim Aleinu v'al Kol Yisrael v'yibru. Amen. Oseh Shalom v'imamav. Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu v'al Kol Yisrael v'yibru. Amen. Maybe see. Before we go into Kiddush, I want to say thank you to Eileen, to Robin, and to David Yotel. I'd like to thank you. My understanding is that thank you for doing the door duty. We appreciate it. Yeah. Eileen, thank you, Robin, for that wonderful mole. And David informed me after the service, I don't know if you're aware, but we must have had about 100 people in the sanctuary. What do you think? Yeah. There were 100 people watching on Zoom. Yeah. He said there were at least as many people on Zoom as there were. So once again, please tell them thank you, because without that, so many people wouldn't be able to pay the respect to Fran. So once again, thank you, Robin. Thank you, Eileen. Both things, thank you very, very much. Kiddush. Are you ready?
Yes.
Because I'm thirsty.
Baruch Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri haolam.
Amen.
Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu mitzvotav v'ratzah ma'anu, v'shabbat kadisho v'ahavah ratzon v'tilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit. Kiruya Tekilah L'Mikrei Kodesh Zeher L'Tziat Mitzrayim Kibadu L'Avata Yotam Yukidashta Mikol Ha'amim V'Shabbat Kashecha V'Yahava U'Ratzon B'Kol Ha'amim Baruch Atah Adonai Mikadesh Shabbat.
Amen. Motzi lechem haaretz, we give thanks to God for bread. Our voices join in happy chorus as our prayer is humbly said. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, motzi lechem haaretz. Amen.
Enjoy. We believe that we need God's help to bring peace. So please join us for Oseh Shalom as we ask God for God's help. Please. Yes. Wait. Where are you going next week?
To the Sierra Mountains.
Good. In honor of Robin's going away next week, would you all please join us in White Christmas? Everyone go
Look, all I want it to be is a dark black top. The white is on the side. Black road.
Robin's going. We don't remember, every year at this time she just go out of town. It just happens to be that. I couldn't. How should I say it? Not have fun with that.
No,
It is written by a Jewish guy named Berlin, but there we go.
That's right. I know, it's so beautiful. It's a beautiful song, too. It really is. I'd sing it, except we're
Yeah.
supposed to do this instead.
Yes, let's go.
Oh, say shalom, we are so shalom Aleichem. We are all Israel. God shalom, God shalom.